Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is your brother in the struggle coming right back at you once again. Let me ask you this. Are you ready for the truth? Can you handle the truth? Ladies and gentlemen, the truth is not welcome in this world. The truth is a shocking fact. The truth is a constant thing. The truth is always constant. The truth cannot change. Are you ready for the truth of your existence? Do you even care about your existence? Ladies and gentlemen, hopefully within the next 10 or 15 minutes, I would like to help you change your mind. Because ladies and gentlemen, unless you have a personal relationship with the one that created you and with the one that gives you breath, the breath of life, the Heavenly Mother, okay, Rawak Hakandesh, which literally means breath of life. Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you this. Are you aware of what is happening in America? Are you aware of what is happening around the world? Do you know that this is the fulfilling time, the fulfilling last times of prophecies? Ladies and gentlemen, I don't come here to preach to you. I don't come here to hopefully make you, to hopefully change your mind. I'm not here to do none of that. What I'm here for is to show you a reality. Okay? And to tell you that the devil is not at fault for everything. Even though he will be punished eternally, okay? He is not, the devil is blameless. Because ladies and gentlemen, our existence are based upon decision. He presented a different reality and we went along with it. And up until now, okay, and through a human history, and up until now, humanity has living under this lie, and the human mind is so easily manipulated. Okay, through a history, that is a fact, Jack. Let me give you an example. The civil rights movement. That was the greatest trick play on the black family. The other thing is the data center popping up all over the United States. Do you think that's for your own good? Ladies and gentlemen, no. These are billionaires collecting information. Ladies and gentlemen, the matrix is real. And unless you have a strong relationship with your creator, you will not make it. In fact, you won't deserve to keep on being part of life for eternity. Because ladies and gentlemen, whether you want to believe it or not, okay, whether you want to believe it or not, we were created. Okay, we are created beings. Even science can agree with me on that. But of course, they don't call it God. Okay, they don't call him the great I am. Of course not. No, they call him a designer, an intelligent designer, because that's exactly what they've been feeding you to make you believe that they are UFOs, that we were created by UFOs. Because, ladies and gentlemen, the reality is that the theory of evolution have been a practical joke, not just here in the United States, but all over the world. That has been proven over and over again that it is a lie. Okay? Are you aware that America has many things to answer for, being the second beast, the first beast being the Roman Catholic Church? Ladies and gentlemen, do not believe for a moment, please, that the Roman Catholic Church and the United States are at odds. In fact, the United States is the daughter of Babylon. Okay? So ladies and gentlemen, please, you have been worked. First, and you know how they control our society. This is why Truth is not welcome. Truth is not dangerous because we are too deep in the rabbit hole. Okay? We are too deep under this satanic matrix system. Okay? It's too big for you to understand. Well, it is time that you understand this truth. This reality that bring to you. I'm not here for clickbait, because even if I get 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, 4 million subscribers, ladies and gentlemen, I will not get a penny from you from any company, because I am against the system. Okay, this satanic machinery that we have in place in this world has become a joke, has been ridiculous, and that's how humanity is behaving all over the planet. That's why they play on your emotions. Your religions play on your emotions. Your political system, which came, the political system and the religions and the religious concept came out of a political system. Christendom was created back in the Roman Empire on the Council of Nicaea under the Emperor Constantine back in the year 325 after Christ. Okay? So ladies and gentlemen, please. And so what they did is the devil brought in, since he was being welcomed, ladies and gentlemen, the devil will not come to you unless you welcome him. In fact, that's why people in Hollywood who sells their soul for money and fame, ladies and gentlemen, okay? That's why people that sell their soul even thought that's so ridiculous, because you cannot sell anything that isn't yours. Okay? What they do sell is the mind. That's all. Okay? So don't get that they sell their soul. Don't let them trick you into that. Okay? Ladies and gentlemen, they have to sell their soul, which means that they have to push the satanic agenda. Okay? This is Pride Month. And you would think it's about love. But ladies and gentlemen, take a look at exactly for what it is. It is an act against nature. It is an insult to human existence. Why? Because 2 men or 2 women cannot procreate life. Sure, okay, no matter how hard they tried, that wouldn't happen. Sure, gay people have kids, but look how they have it. You got a sperm bank. You hire somebody to have your babies with your sperms. You understand? It's a lot of things. The devil has everything in place, and he has taken over. In fact, he has used religion to justify him coming into being part of the scene, because humanity has welcomed him. Okay? So ladies and gentlemen, please do not get it twisted. The United States has a lot of things to answer for. A lot of countless millions upon millions of lives that were killed. I mean, look how many Native Americans they killed. Look how many Latin Americans they killed. And I'm not talking about Americans leaders. I'm talking about the European who came here, who are Esau's descendants. Okay? So ladies and gentlemen, please pay attention to the data center, but do not get panic. Pay attention to what is happening with the Iran war, but do not panic, because everything is running its course. America will fall. America is running out of arms and out of weapons, believe it or not, to fight Iran. But you have the propaganda at your door. And ladies and gentlemen, very, very soon, and I gotta give it to you raw. I gotta give it to you straight from the hip. Millions upon millions of Americans will die, because you will see the Iranians are already here. See, America is in the way of the new Antichrist system that is gonna be set up by the Roman Catholic Church and the United Nations. Okay, that is a fact. That's why don't let them play you into. This is you talk about opposite control opposition. That's the game that the Roman Catholic Church in the United States is playing right before your eyes. Okay? And by the way, you see how they are squeezing your brains to bring you in so you believe that you can make a difference with your votes, when the reality of everything is your votes don't count. Remember what I've been telling you all these years. Everything is a lie in this world. The billionaires don't know what to do with their money, and they are being directed by the devil himself, whom they worship. Now you understand why there's never been, and you will never see, the great revealing of the extraterrestrials. Because, ladies and gentlemen, the reason they're even talking about is because technology has caught up with them. See, technology was being reserved. Technology has always existed. Electricity has always existed. Okay? There's nothing new under the sun. Okay? But these in realities are the fallen angels that are playing with humanity. I mean, look at the situation in America. You got the blue and the red. You got the Crips and the Bloods. The blue represents what? The Crips. And the Bloods, which are the red, represents Republicans. Don't you see what they're doing there? They do that by design, to divide and conquer you, and they have. America is done. There's nothing that can stop anything. There's nothing that can stop America's demise. And believe me, the devil is not at fault here. Okay? Why? Because what did I just say to you? The devil cannot come to you unless you invite him in. That is the spiritual rule. And this whole world has invited him in. Now you understand why I only have 156 subscribers? Because these videos would not be advertised, would not be promoted. Because the truth is a dangerous thing. In fact, ladies and gentlemen, Google is about to release 32 million insects, and no matter how they will try to justify it, do not believe it. They claim that those insects that they are releasing, along with Bill Gates mosquitoes, are to help to prevent diseases. Ladies and gentlemen, no. Remember global warming, and now they're talking about climate change. You see how they play you? The same thing they play with racism. Racism does not exist. Racism is the result of evil. Evil exists. But they use that, they exploit the words, because there's power in words. Because what did I just say? The human mind is so easily manipulated. It was manipulated when that's why we fell from God's grace. Okay? Ladies and gentlemen, don't you see what is happening in front of you? The obvious things are the most ignored things in this world. That's how the human mind works. We got the sun, the moon, and the stars. We got water. We got rain coming down. Okay? But ladies and gentlemen, this world is at its end. But it's going to be a few years. Why? There's still a few years remaining. Why? Because things need to take place. Humanity will understand the purpose of life and the reason that it was created for. You didn't come to just being out of nothing. You are not creation that came out of nothing. You see? I mean, that is a freaking satanic joke. You see how the jokes they play on you? But you have welcomed it. Ladies and gentlemen, I have done it all. I saw drugs. I used to sleep with prostitutes. I used to be a door-to-door salesman. I used to be part of the United States Marines. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been around. And I can tell you, this whole world is a big, fat lie. And if you go along with it, then you be part of the lie and you will suffer the consequences. And that is exactly what is coming down the pipe for millions upon millions of Americans. Wake the hell up. You want to believe in your government? You want to believe in your political system? Go right ahead and do it. But if you are within the sound of my voice, you cannot tell God that nobody told you this. Do not believe in man. Everything is a freaking lie. Climate change is a lie. Religion is a lie. Your political system is a lie. Your education system is a lie. It's in fact, the education system is a what? Doctrination system. That's all it is. I mean, look what they're doing. Men believe that he is God. He still believes that he is God, and he's playing, and he's got this God complex. And for that, he's doing all that he can. He knows that the God that they have welcomed into this world, who is the God of this world, Satan, that old serpent called the devil. But if we all rise up and pray to God, ladies and gentlemen, all the evil will disappear in 1 hour. But because of that, because that's not going to happen, America will be destroyed in 1 hour. That's why New York was given into foreign hands. I grew up in New York, ladies and gentlemen. I went through 9/11. Okay? So please, do not believe the propaganda. Do not believe the brain games. Ladies and gentlemen, America will be completely destroyed. And if you don't believe me, ladies and gentlemen, don't you think that the law of karma, what goes around comes, let's use layman's term, the law of karma, right? What goes around comes around. Then what do you think America has done? And believe me, they have something big for this year. A big false flag event is coming down the pipe, being planned by the Mossad intelligence agency, just like they did at 9/11 and the CIA and the United States CIA. Why? Because, ladies and gentlemen, unless they do something, America is losing credibility. America is creating enemies. Okay? So please take a look at the links that I will share with you. But remember, the devil is not at fault. Men have welcomed the devil into their lives. They have followed him, and through our human history, whom have humans worship through rituals, you name it. I mean, you pick an empire. The Akkadian Empire, the Sumerians, the Babylon Empire, the Egyptian dynasties, the Medo-Persian Empire, the Greek Empire, and the last empire, the Roman Empire, but it never left. It would not be completely reunited, and that's why all hell is breaking loose all over this planet. You saw what happened in France, what is happening in England, ladies and gentlemen. That is coming to America. It's already here. Okay? Evil is real. That's why Pride Month has been exalted. Okay? So please. Now you may say, Ruben, do you hate gay people? Of course not. I don't hate the sinners. I hate the sins that they have given themselves up to. It's like, oh, God is binary. God is gay. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, we have gone completely mad. This is the cruelest and the craziest last human generation of all time. America is actually Sodom and Gomorrah. And I'm not saying to play any part. Because I don't have skin in this game. I have a strong relationship with my Creator, and here I am, bringing you. I should have been dead many times over. And here I am. There I go by the grace of God. Ladies and gentlemen, please, do not follow men whether it is in religion. Do not believe the lies that tell you in your schools that you came through billions and billions of years of evolution upon this planet. And that we came out of and that the earth is a globe, and that we are spinning thousands of miles around the sun every 24 hours. You see, everything is a lie. NASA is laughing in your face and you don't see it. NASA's logo is a serpent sticking her tongue out. Ladies and gentlemen, this whole world is satanic, whether you want to believe it or not. Why you think the CIA came up with coined the phrase conspiracy theories? Why? Because they knew this time was coming. Remember, these people can see 30, 40 years ahead of you. Because they are the one that plan everything. Now you see why the Simpsons always predicting? Because who you think Simpson is run by? It's the people that believe that they must warn you before they bring something. Remember what happened in 2020? What didn't the Simpsons show you? The Simpsons told you about what we were going to get in 2020. And that everybody had to get something in their body. You understand? So ladies and gentlemen, and now they're blaming each other. See how it is? Everybody's playing, oh, don't blame me. Oh, they hit this. They hit that. Ladies and gentlemen, everything is a lie. Nobody cares about you. They want you to lose faith in life itself. That's why abortion exists. You think abortion was for women's rights? No. That is to make you lose, to devalue life, so that you don't. And that's why it says on Matthew chapter 24, verse 14. What does it say there? Because evil will be abound, the love of many will wax cold. There's no love. People have kids for the heck of it. People have kids because they're hornies. Okay? People have fed because of sexual desires. You understand? Not because they ask God for kids, for their sons and daughters. I have sons and daughters, but I asked God to give them to me, and He did. And the devil is like, well, I couldn't get you, so maybe I can get your sons. Be my guest. But they will come back. Because I taught them this. And God will protect them. You understand? This is not a joke. It's not funny anymore. People are going to be dropping like fly left and right very, very soon. And believe me, lockdowns are coming back. A national emergency will be declared by Donald Trump. Remember what I told you. Donald Trump will be the last president of the United States. America is done. One of these days, you're going to wake up and you're going to see the digital dollar is here. Which means you will be forced to follow the system and to believe in it. Okay, so anyway, so elections, do not believe them. The data center, they're not there to help you. They're there to destroy you and to keep your getting ready for the reset that's coming around the corner. Okay? America owes $40 trillion, a debt that is never going to pay. The pharmaceutical industries, you know, the big players on the pharmaceutical that work with Pfizer, the Rockefellers, the Rothschild. Okay? So ladies and gentlemen, one last thing and then I'm done. Pride Month will be held this year in the Dead Sea in Israel. Ladies and gentlemen, why you think it's happening? Why is Israel, who call themselves the chosen people but are not, ladies and gentlemen, just like it says it in the Bible, in Revelation, for those who call themselves Jews but are not, ladies and gentlemen, why are they doing this? Because they want to bring their Messiah. The dawn of the Messiah. Ladies and gentlemen, there's no Messiah coming back. For them, there's only one Messiah, which is Christ. Yahashua. Okay? That's the only Messiah, but they don't believe it. They don't believe in that Messiah. So they want to start doing a lot of evil things to hasten their Messiah's return. You see how crazy we have become? And by the way, Netanyahu, ladies and gentlemen, he's Polish. He's not even from Israel. You understand? Wake the hell up. This is all I have for you, ladies and gentlemen. God bless.